Welcome to the Tuning In podcast, where we talk alignment, intuition, and our internal guidance system. We cover woo-woo topics in an approachable and practical way. I'm your host, Dana Evans of alignful.com. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Tuning In podcast. We are at episode 80, and man, happy March. March is over. By the time you're listening to this, I think it's the last day of March. And let me just start with an update for you all, and that might actually be all the episode is an update. Wow. I think I shared with you a couple episodes, or maybe at the beginning of March, I shared that I was kind of guided for March to be this just spacious, a month for me to kind of come back to self, to come inward a bit, to release, to reintegrate, to settle. And with that came this desire, this internal, right? This inner voice guidance to not have alcohol, which I mostly followed. And then some other things have unfolded. So I just was like, okay, this is what it's like to really follow the inner voices. I'm like, all right, let's just go with it. I didn't set out this big plan, but it was like, okay, let's just take this day by day. And yeah, the month, March, it has been so intense for me. So many things kind of aligned too, in that I embarked on this 4-week yoga series that really kind of helped me get back into my body. And the yoga that I practice is called Bowspring. This woman it's called dailyritual.live. That's her website. It's all primal-movement, and her name's Alicia. And she had this series, and then she has this membership, and I ended up joining her movement membership. I did her 4-part series, and I really just got back to my body, which just really for an entire year since COVID hit, I just hadn't been moving much. I've been doing my walks, and in the summer I would do bike rides and hikes. So those things, but I haven't had a consistent body movement, and that's fine. It just hadn't felt necessary or aligned. But all of a sudden this month I started moving again. So I was moving, doing this yoga multiple times a week, and deep, intense practice. Not fast, slow, deep, mindful, opening movement. So that was really beautiful. I wasn't really having alcohol, so I didn't have a lot of things to distract myself. I wasn't feeling like watching a ton of TV at first. And I was just with myself. So the first couple weeks, great. Well, the last 2 weeks, more and more things have kind of unfolded to nudge me deeper. And again, following the guidance, just following it. I think I shared this last week, is Jess Lively, who I trained to be an inner voice facilitator with. She has a new round of facilitator trainees starting this week, actually. And I am a squad leader. So I help guide. I have a group of 4 women that I'm working with to support them during this 6-week intense, beautiful inner voice process. And she had this free workshop for anyone who had joined. And it was a whole weekend. And it really tipped me over back into the deep end of emotional processing, releasing, questioning, just looking at my life differently. It was really intense. And then that moved into that following week. That week I had a reflexology session where my body was like, okay, it's time for us to do a spring little food cleanse, a khichdi cleanse, which is an Ayurvedic way of eating. It's a food cleanse. You're just eating a mono diet. But with that came not having dairy or gluten, still really no caffeine or alcohol or sugar. So I was like, all right, apparently I'm doing this now. So I got the ingredients and started doing that cleanse. And then that started actually on the solstice. I began that, which was Sunday the 21st, and I had a cacao ceremony, which at this point it had been a week in, and I was just feeling like pretty dark and deep for that entire week. Like it was just so much opening, so much releasing, so much inwarding. It was intense. It is intense. It can be intense. And the cacao ceremony, I did not want to do it. I may have shared this last week on the episode, but I did not want to do it. I was like, it's too much. But I did. I kept my video off. I made like this really lovely experience for myself. I lit candles, I closed the blinds, and man, it was just more crying, more releasing, more letting go. And then it was the solstice and the time change that weekend. And that Monday, which was a week ago, I was like, F this, F everything. All last week, I cannot explain. I just can't fully explain how intense it was. It was like I was watery all week. Like I was crying every day. I had not a stitch of energy. I'm eating the khichdi, like having the cleanse food, which basically, like, I should be feeling great. Usually when I do a cleanse, like the khichdi cleanse, my body knows it so well. Like, I love it. It's the most delicious food. I eat a ton of food, lots of fat. It's really nourishing. So it's a combination of, I make lentils. So for this spring one, I had red lentils, which are like mush, right? I love red lentils with lemon and salt, and then cooked rice. And then I would combine that with some vegetable broth. So it was like really brothy and soupy. And then I'd add a ton of vegetables. So I had cooked asparagus, broccoli, dandelion greens, Swiss chard, kale, radicchio, and just make this yummy soup. And then add ghee, a lot of ghee, which is clarified butter, and then coconut milk. Oh, it's so good. So I was eating that for lunch and dinner. And then breakfast, I was eating 2 pieces of gluten-free toast with a whole avocado. It's delicious. And usually by a few days in, like I start feeling really good and clear. And this time, I swear every day I woke up feeling hungover. Like I'm not having alcohol, I'm not having caffeine, I'm not having sugar, I'm not having gluten, I'm not having dairy. I'm eating all these supportive foods and vegetables and broths and like doing lots of movement and yoga. And every day I was sleeping like 10 and a half, 11 hours a night and waking up feeling hungover and foggy and cloudy. And I was like, holy guacamole, what is happening? I was crying. Like, this is intense. And it's just like, what do you do? But for me, where I'm at now is I trust. I trust. I trust the ebb and flow. I trust my inner voice. I trust that I am being guided toward what is necessary and best and the highest for me, and that it is temporary. And that trust can only happen through practice, right? It's not going to happen immediately. And definitely in the past, like if I had a bad week, is what I would have called it, right? Oh, I'm having a hard week. Definitely in the past, I would have been like, how can I fix this? I need to feel better. But now I see it as like, this is an invitation for me to slow down. And the funny thing is, like, I was like, from a menstrual cycle perspective, I was in ovulation week, which is when you have the most energy and is the best time to like be out there in the world and engage with people and all of that. And so there was the initial, especially since as you've heard, like I'm opening the doors to Insight, which is a 3-month inner voice and mind-based coaching practice experience together, and Insight Light, which is a 1-month coaching, you and me. And so obviously I wanted to spend all my time last week talking about that. And I was in ovulation and it all made so much sense mentally. Mentally, there was a plan. Mentally, I should be doing this. But physically and energetically and my inner voice, it was all like, no, no, no. It's not what we're doing. You're going to be crying. You're going to feel kind of depressed, a little annoyed. You're not going to have energy to speak and to share and to talk and to be online. And you're going to need rest, and you're going to be allowed to watch movies during the week and during the day. And 2 of the days I spent, like one day I woke up and I felt kind of good. So I went to the coffee shop. I was like, all right. So I did. I got like 2 hours of work in. It was great. And then I came home and I just felt like everything was taken from me. It was 10:30 in the morning. I went into the bedroom. I closed all the blinds and I crawled into bed and I watched TV on Netflix. And I was like, this is all I can do. What the hell? But it was really interesting to witness because it's been 2 weeks of just like no energy, really exhausted. I was like, am I anemic? What's happening? What is going on? And it was really interesting in that I truly, fully allowed this of myself. And that is a huge milestone for me because definitely in the past, it's like, no, this is not okay. You have to push through. You have to fight. Something's wrong with you. That would be the question. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? But this time I was like, I surrender. It's okay that I don't feel good. It is okay that I feel really down. It is okay that I am crying every day. It is okay that I wake up feeling as bad as I did when I went to sleep. It is okay. And in fact, it's not bad. It's a lull. It's a lull. It's a pause. It's an exhale between breaths. It's really the pause after the exhale between breaths. And the amount of trust that I have and had during those 2 weeks was like, this wouldn't be happening if this wasn't what I needed. If I didn't need to go inward and do a crap ton more releasing, then it wouldn't be happening. If I couldn't handle it, it wouldn't be happening. If I wasn't ready for it, it wouldn't be happening. This is divine alignment. This is me trusting what I'm experiencing and not doubting it, fearing it, running away from it, or trying to change it. This is me being in it. And I ask you, like, how often do you wish, or do you just feel sapped and then you just keep going? Interestingly, because our inner voices love us so much, because our bodies love us so much, is I would say probably the majority of the population isn't actually having this for 2 weeks at a time because they're not ready for it, right? They don't have the space for it. They can't make the space for it. So your inner body's usually not going to throw you into this experience that you're not ready for. But if you are, when you are, when you allow it, when you follow the nudges, when you open up and surrender to it, it will come. It's like the wave, the tide coming in and washing away all the footprints, all the sandcastles, all of the day from the beach. And when you walk out onto the beach first thing in the morning, it's all smooth and settled again. But it gets stomped on every single day. And that's us in our life. Like all these emotions, all of this stuff, all of these stories, we're changing, we're evolving. So much is changing in the world right now. And some of us are going to stay back and hold on to the old. And some of us are going to let the tide wash it away and emerge renewed. But we have to be willing to let that happen. And it's unfreaking comfortable. Can I tell you, it doesn't feel good to feel that off for that many days. It does not feel great to wake up every day foggy and crying for no apparent reason. I don't choose that, But I am open to that experience, knowing that it is the washing away of what I don't need. It is the releasing of the fight. It is the surrendering of the old stories. It is the stepping into what's next. And it doesn't just happen once. Heck, guys, I just did the sloth experiment. I was like, what? There's more? Yes, there's more. There's always more when you're ready. When you're ready. I felt like a superstar in January and February. You know, in Mario, when you walk into the star and then you go, and you're like running around. That's how I felt January and February. And then the nudge in March was to come back. And coming back also involved more letting go. More. And, you know, I have support during this. I have people that I talk to. I have a coach. I have my inner voice. And I don't wish this to anyone to do this alone, but I really want more people to experience this. Like literally, I definitely have more energy today. Yesterday was Sunday. So it's like 2 full weeks after this all started, or really 2 weeks and 2 days after this all started. And I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I feel okay. I don't feel great, but I feel okay. And I got groceries. And I came home. I cleaned the fridge. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. I cleaned one of the drawers in my kitchen. I cleaned a cupboard. I did my laundry. I Palo Santo'd the house. I did like a whole beautiful self-care. I did my dry brushing. I took like a luxurious shower. I added my favorite amazing skin savior body balm from Primally Pure. Oh my God, it smells like cake. It's like shea butter, almond oil, tallow. Oh my God. And it has like these delicious essential oils, totally clean. And then I did a similar product on my face and I gave myself this like deep face massage. Oh, massaged my feet, played full moon music. That was another thing. The full moon was intense. I think a lot of people were feeling the intensity the past couple weeks. I watched the full moon rise last night. Oh, and I played this full moon playlist. And it was like, whoa. Whereas like I was hardly having energy to like shower. Now, granted, I was doing a lot of yoga too, the bowspring, because despite my low energy, like movement felt really good. And that was cracking me open too. You know, everything cracks us open that we allow and then we release. Like I was crying at the end of my yoga classes. It's great. It's cool. But all of that is to say, it was like yesterday I finally saw some sunshine again. Interestingly, this past week was also really gray in Colorado, which is uncommon. And like Saturday and Sunday, suddenly there was sunshine. And today I'm sitting here looking out and oh, it's warm. The sun is out. It feels like spring. And I definitely have more energy. It's not all there. But instead of saying continually, I'm so tired, I was saying, I'm ready. I'm excited for when my energy returns. You see, because we get what we are, right? So yes, I was exhausted and tired and worn down and empty. Not to scare you guys away. It was hard. It was a hard couple of weeks. But I also knew that this was happening intentionally, and it's because I allowed it. I said to my coach, Lauren, I said, I feel like I opened the floodgates and now I want to pump the brakes. Like, no more, please, no more. She said, well, why not? I said, it's too much feeling. It's so much feeling. But it is okay to feel. You know, we spend so much of our days trying to not feel. We stay so busy so that we don't have the anxiety come up or the negative thoughts. And you know, we keep ourselves so occupied. And when a feeling comes up, we're like, nope, not now. I don't want that. But when you open those floodgates and you're like, just wash over me, like, let me feel it all, you realize that it's actually not as scary to feel as we think it is. This is what I do in, When we work together, especially the Insight program where we're spending 3 months together, is you're going to feel, but I'm going to be there with you, right? You're going to release stuff, but you're not doing it alone. You're going to clear the debris from the beach and wake up one day with more clarity, more light in your face and your skin, more levity in the way you walk, because you felt it all and felt it through to the other side. You didn't sit and pedal back away from the shoreline. No, you're like, let's immerse. And I'm so passionate about this work. And I guess to share this episode, it's like, look, y'all, I'm in it with you. Like, I do this. Like, this to me is the most important work. I had to suspend disbelief again and say, okay, I trust that this is happening. And then I leaned on my support system to get me through. And I want to be that support system for you. I want to be there to help hold space so that you can go inward. And everyone's speed and depth is controlled by their inner voice. It will not take you somewhere that you're not ready to go. I repeat, your inner voice will not take you somewhere that you're not ready to go. When we work together one-to-one in the Insight program for 1 month or 3 months, you choose, your inner voice chooses. I am not the one in control of the gas and the brakes. It's your inner voice. We align so deeply with you, with what is needed for you, with what is right for you in this moment. And then we let that be the guiding light. Each session, each experience, each next step is guided by your highest self. What do you need now? Not everyone needs 2 weeks of crying and heart shattering opening. By the way, I was still working. It's not like my whole life stopped. It's just I had to slow down quite a bit. But not everyone needs that. You might need just ultimate joy and nature and sunshine and delight. We don't know until we check in. The mind has so many stories. And again, with Insight, it's crazy. We're working physical, emotional body. So we're using the physical body, right, to help with release and clearing. We're releasing trapped emotions, right? And we're working with the energetic body. And then we work with the mind, right? Hello, mind. We are working together. And then the inner voice. All 4 of these components to me are essential. We need to combine it. And I happen to be trained in depth in all of these areas. And I get to combine all of my passions here in one space with the Insight Coaching Program. And I've never been so proud or excited to work with you, because I feel like there's just these gaps of so many people are only working with the mind, right? But then what are you moving toward if you're only working with the mind? Decided by that can mean that you're headed in the wrong direction and you're putting all of your energy and effort there. And then if we only work with the inner voice, especially at the beginning, sometimes the mind is too strong to let you follow the guidance of the inner voice. Not sometimes, most of the time. I do a ton of one-off inner voice sessions and I love to take people deep. But often when I follow up with them, a week, a month later, is they haven't acted upon what they heard of that divine wisdom because the mind has too many stories. So we have to work with both. And then it's like, okay, well, maybe the inner voice gives you guidance. We get over the beliefs and the blocks from the mind, but then maybe you're still not moving forward. And it's like, well, what is it? Oh, it's old emotions that are holding you down and weighing you down, like literally emotional baggage. So we need to clear that, right? We need to breathe through that, let it come up and bubble out like a volcano and get flooded with that, with me there supporting and guiding you so that gets out of the way. And then I love to support all the emotional clearing with the physical body. I'm trained in functional movement in bowspring, and the body is such a conduit, right? It's such a beautiful place that sometimes in coaching, we forget to use the body. So moving energy physically through the body, through self-massage, through calming the nervous system, right? Through activating the parasympathetic nervous system, all of that. So in Insight, we combine all of it. It's not overwhelming. It's just complete. It's complete. And that's what I've been doing these past 2 weeks through my own depth experience was I did it all. It was physical body, emotional release. I'm no longer afraid to just fall to the floor crying or yelling. I'm still working on the yelling part. And then, just regular coaching. I have a coach and then inner voice. And it's right there. So that is what I've been up to. So I've been really quiet lately. And, anyone who's talked to me in person, one-to-one, has heard a lot of what's been going on. But I wanted to just give you all a just in-depth recap. Again, is we just keep, and my inner voice gave me this description when I felt better, quote unquote, after the sloth experiment, when it was like, oh, sloth experiment's over. I'm like, what? And I had all this energy. I was like, well, how long will it last? Oh my God, am I going to be okay? I'm afraid to go back. All these things. My inner voice said, it's like scuba diving. And when you're ready, you get to go and dive deep again, go underwater, go into the depths. And each time you bring up some more light and then you come up for air. And when you're up for air, enjoy it, bask in the sunshine, have the most fun. And then when it's time again, you'll go deep again. But each time you go through this cycle, which could be once a year, could be every other month, whatever it's time for you, each time you go back down, it's a little less scary and you go a little deeper and you clear out something that's even deeper within you that you didn't know was there. And it wasn't as scary this time. Yes, on Saturday, I was like, oh my God, am I going to feel better? What's happened? My mind started to get a little concerned. But then on Sunday, it was my inner voice was like, okay, we're back. Not fully, but it's okay. And each time you go deeper, each time you feel through an emotion that was once scary, each time you let the thoughts come out and then say, those are just thoughts, they aren't real, then you get out quicker. It's we go in, we go out, we go in, we go out. We can stay down for a while and clear some crap. Then we come up and we have the sunlight. And it's just life. We spend our whole lives avoiding feeling. We're scared of it. How many times, especially as a woman, does someone say, calm down? Why do I have to calm down? Right? Oh, I don't want you to feel sad. I'm so sorry you're sad. Why? Why can't I feel sad? Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Why not? Why the hell not? Right? We do this. We accidentally, unconsciously try to placate each other's emotions all the frickin' time. And I want us to feel them, see them, release them. It's a much quicker process. Then we don't have a bunch of people running around with suppressed emotions, acting out on those because they don't know where to put them. Let's be in a supported environment. In this instance, you can work with me and let this stuff go. Let go to let in, right? Let go deep, and then let the sunshine come back in and enjoy all the frickin' magic that comes with that. And we can experience the polarity of both and enjoy both even. It was kind of nice to have a couple of weeks of slowing down with no shame, no guilt. It was all right, I literally can't do anything. And then it's so nice to be on that joy and sunshine path as well and just letting life flow. So that is my update. It was more than I was expecting to come out, but All that is to say, I am grateful for this life and this process. And if you're curious, look, I only want to work with you if this is right and aligned for you and your inner voice. And so if you're feeling like a nudge, like, God, I feel like there's stuff that I need to let go of, and I don't know how to do it. I can't, I feel stuck. Hit me up on Instagram, DM me at Dana_Evans, send me an email to dana@alignful.com. We can book a single inner voice session where you'll get tons of clearing, or we can work together for a month or do the full insight program and work together for 3 months. And you will just be in awe at the transformation that comes from going inward and following the guidance of your inner voice and connecting all of that with mind, body, energy, and emotions. And I'm calling in whoever is divinely aligned to work with me, whose inner voice is divinely aligned to work with me, because I am here. I'm your buoy. I am here, like, we're going to go deep, but you're never going to get lost. I will hold the light and the sunshine for you that you always get to come back to. And it's so much sweeter to experience that after you've let go of the density, the baggage that was there before. Anyway, so would love to work with you if that feels aligned. Otherwise, I trust that this episode gave you exactly what you needed. And as always, you can share it with anyone who you might think will benefit from hearing this story. And of course, you can rate and review me on iTunes and subscribe. All of those things are beautiful and helpful. And I love you. I hope you have a magical week. Happy full moon. And let's just start settling into the ebbs and flows of life. All right. I'll see you next week for another episode of the Tuning In podcast. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tuning In podcast. As always, if this would resonate with anyone you know, please share the episode. You can follow along with my journey on Instagram at Dana_Evans, or find me on my website at alignful.com.